You look so cold. Why are you so cold, mister? I'm from Buffalo, New York.
It's chilly out here.
It is. It's cold out here. Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Adventures with Andy. Today, we're going to do some cold vat yarn dyeing. Now, originally, I decided I'm going to do some cold vat yarn dyeing because our power went out thanks to an ice storm. Because in North Carolina, where I live, we don't get snow, we get ice. Evidenced by the fact I've been wanting to try snow dyeing, and every time they say snow, we get ice. So anyway, the power went out and can't do regular yarn dyeing without power. So I thought, what the heck? I'll try some cold vat dyeing. And as I was putting the silicone zip ties on the yarn, the power came back on. It was out for about 19 hours. So of course, it just happened to come on just as I was getting ready to do something that didn't require power. That's okay. We're gonna do some cold vat dyeing anyway. And basically what we're doing is we're just gonna put the yarn in some water with no heat, add the dye, in this case, Kool-Aid. I haven't decided which color yet, but Kool-Aid. And then just let it sit for a very, very, very long time. After which I will go ahead and put it in a crock pot just to heat set it. I don't know if you need to, but since everything I've ever heard is that you need heat to set, I'm gonna do that anyway. But first things first, the yarn that we are using today is KnitPicks Swish Fingering. I've got 2 skeins of it because I want to make sure I have plenty of yarn to play with. As I mentioned, our dye today is going to be Kool-Aid. Kool-Aid was actually the first thing that I tried when I first tried dyeing yarn. It's a common way for people to start with dyeing yarn because it's got the food coloring in it. It's got citric acid, which is your acid put in it. It's really easy to do. I have lots and lots of packets. I know you can't see them, but packets. I kind of cleared out a store when I got them all. So we're going to kind of do this sort of semi-low immersion. This yarn is just dry. This is going to be incredibly cold because we are in the garage, of course, and it is cold out here. This water actually, Chad put this tub out when the weather forecast said that it was supposed to snow overnight, and instead we got an ice storm. So it caught lots of freezing rain and ice, and then proceeded to melt as the temperature got to like 34 today. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put this yarn in here. Oh my God, this is so cold. Oh my God, I should be making Chad do this. He's from the cold, frozen north. Oh my God, I can't get over how cold this is, guys. You want to angle the camera so people can actually see what I'm doing. Bring the camera over here while my hands try to thaw. I'm gonna see if this helps. Seriously, y'all, this is basically it's ice water that it got just warm enough to melt it. Very cold vat dyeing. So very cold. I know, I'm complaining a lot. I am a Southern girl. I was born in Georgia and lived all over, but most of it below the Mason-Dixon line or right there on it. I am not good with cold. Not great with really hot weather either. But I'm definitely not good with cold. Trying to get all this yarn under the water as much as I can. And it's not completely submerged because if it was completely, well, it's right about at the water level, but it's not, you know, a really high water level like what we normally do. Because if we did that, the dye would be able to move around and mix a whole lot. Doing it low immersion like this, what we're going to get is the dye is going to stay pretty much where we put it, but it's going to be able to spread out just a little bit. Okay, now we have to decide on colors. I'm going to make Chad help me pick this. We've got strawberry, watermelon, cherry, tropical punch, black cherry, grape, orange, and lemonade. You will notice there's actually no blue. See? Yellow, orange, purple, I guess reddish purple, red, one watermelon, which is pink, one strawberry, which is pink, and do not be fooled, tropical punch is not blue, despite the fact that it's in a blue package. It's red. I think the only blue that you can find in Kool-Aid is blue lemonade, and apparently that's like insanely hard to find. So, you got any preferences, Chad?
Let's start with orange.
And what are we gonna put with orange? Oh, I stumped him, folks.
Some purple?
Do you really think purple and orange are gonna mix together well?
Probably not.
I don't know, folks. Maybe I shouldn't trust him to pick the colors. How about if we start with some yellow and we use some red and some black cherry. Does that sound good?
Sure. Sounds
Okay.
good. You probably can go about with a purple in there if you wanted to.
I could if I wanted to, yes. Just probably not over the yellow. I don't know how that would work. I did the wrong one first. What am I going to do? Okay. Stay there, don't spill. This was very much a spur of the moment thing, so I really don't have anything very well planned. We're just making this up as we go along. And that is perfectly all right. Okay, I'm going to start by sprinkling cherry there. Oh, that smells yummy. It really does. Okay, and next up, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some of the yellow. And you can see we've got enough water in here that the color's moving some, but it's still staying mostly where it is. Oh, Chad's going freehand. Do you have it off autofocus? Mm-hmm. Okay. So now I'm going to sprinkle yellow right there. Let's go ahead and do an orange too. Orange. I'm really not entirely sure what color the black cherry is. I'm hoping it's a reddish color as opposed to a purple. And because Chad asked for it, I'll go ahead and do some grape. Been sitting out in the garage for how many years now?
A couple, 3.
At least. Whoa. Oh, that's chunky. I didn't know that Kool-Aid would go chunky, did you?
No, that's what's green.
It does. That's so weird.
Oh.
It smells like grape though. That's going to be interesting.
You have an adventure, right?
That's right. It's an adventure. What's the worst that happens?
Yep.
I ruined some yarn.
You're like, oh my God, what is this thing?
What is the worst that happens? It gains sentience, takes over the world.
Yep.
That's always the worst thing that we say could happen. Gains sentience, takes over the world. I'm going to put some more yellow up here. just to fill in this spot. And then I'm going to take this strawberry, which should be pink, hopefully, and put it between these two and between these two. There we go. Okay, and now we're not going to stir this up or anything. We're just going to put the lid on and let it sit for days. And you can see, okay, this is the side where I poked it down, and you can see the colors coming down already. But if you come over here to this side, this is the side where I just poured it, and it's already spreading down in there. I don't know if it will sink all the way to the bottom, and that is fine if it doesn't. We're cool with that. But we're gonna see what happens. All right, the yarn has been in here for 3 days, and I have to take it out now and set it whether I want to or not, because there is another ice storm on its way. And just in case we lose power again, because, you know, ice, trees, power loss, we're gonna go ahead and set it. Oh, I know you can't smell this, but oh my God, it smells so good. It smells like Kool-Aid. Kind of looks like a sunset, doesn't it?
It does.
The crock pot's over here. It's already hot. Chad actually started this up hours ago for me. Mm-hmm. And then I got busy writing because I have a story due, and I completely lost track of time. And 7 hours later, I'm like, oh, I have to go set that yarn. Life with a writer. Now we're probably going to have some white on the back. No, actually we got quite a lot of penetration. We do have some areas that are still white. I could see through the sides we had some that were. And tempting though it might be to put some more dye in here, like I said, with that ice storm coming in, I really don't want to risk losing power and this yarn having to sit out here for another 3 or 4 days. So put it over here. Let's see how this one looks. Yeah, we got a little bit more white over here, but we really did get some pretty decent penetration on this. I'll have to do a low immersion sometime. Again, this is my first time doing low immersion, so I have to do it again sometime where I can flip. We are just gonna push this down in here. I'm not gonna agitate it much because I don't want to risk felting it. All right, I just want to make sure that all the yarn is in the water. Put the lid on it, and we're just going to let this sit out here for half hour, 45 minutes, and then I will turn off the crock pot, unplug it, let it cool off overnight. I'll come out here tomorrow, get the yarn, wash it, and I'll let it dry, and we will be back to show you how it turned out. And here's our finished yarn. I've laid these out as best I could approximate the way that we had them in the tub. The tub was narrower though, so they got kind of bunched up in there. So the colors don't match up exactly. But this one with the orange silicone tie was the one on top. And you can see up here we've got that red where we poured that cherry in first, just across this top. The yellow, the lemonade, we really didn't get much yellow at all, to be honest. It looks pretty much just white, which surprised me because when I've used yellow food coloring before, I've gotten really saturated colors with it, and I've had to do a lot of rinsing, but still had nice, vibrant yellow. So I was really surprised by that. I guess the lemonade Kool-Aid just doesn't have as much food coloring in it. So I will bear that in mind for the future. And then we've also got the orange, that strawberry. For here is, if you remember the grape that went in, it was all chunky and it looked green. We didn't get green, we definitely got purple. We also got some breaking. We got a little bit of blue in here. No pink really, maybe a few little spots, but that could be from other of the food coloring powder to get into it. But yeah, we definitely got some blue breaking on that purple. But we also got some really nice purple too, so it was really cool. And these two skeins, although they look similar, they are obviously not, they're not duplicates of each other, because this one has this top section here that got all that cherry in it. This didn't get any cherry. This, I'm not sure why we have a big streak of red here, unless it's just some of the other like tropical punch and whatever that we did that ended up mixed on there nicely. This darker red here would be the black cherry. So, but you can see how we had things bunched up so that we had some of that grape that ended up right here. So that's very cool. The other side, remember, we did not flip these over, and I don't know which side was the top where we poured it and which side was the bottom, but the other side, as you can see, we got really nice color penetration. I'm pretty sure that this one, because of that solid red here, that this was the side that was up, because on this side we didn't get as much penetration. But even within this tray, as you can see, we got some pretty nice color all throughout there. And this one, where it got much more of the orange, we definitely got lots of really good color penetration all throughout it. So that turned out really nice. And we got nice, I love this section right here with the orange to that red, to that darker red, to the even darker red. That's just, it looks like a sunset. I know I'm probably blocking it with my hands, but this right here, it looks like a sunset or maybe a fire or something. I don't know, it looks really cool. When I rinsed and washed this yarn, there was no bleeding whatsoever. Not even a hint of it. I even tried, just as a test, I used some warm water instead of cold, and yeah, there was absolutely zero bleeding. So the citric acid that's in the Kool-Aid packs works fantastic. I've been using vinegar so far just because it's easy to come by. I might have to consider switching over to citric acid because that worked so perfectly well. But of course, the real question is, how do they work up? And here is our, yes, this is our first swatch. This is for this one up here. And I apologize for it being wrinkled. After I finished knitting it up, I was talking to Chad or something, and I had it just all wired up in my hand like this for like a good half hour to an hour because I wasn't thinking about it. And yeah, it's wrinkled, and I'm not gonna iron it or anything, and I'm not gonna block it. It's a swatch. But Chad and I both looked at this one and agreed, without even talking to each other. As I was knitting it up, I was like, this one looks like Valentine's Day to me. And when I showed him the swatches when I was done, he said, this one really looks like Valentine's Day. For some reason, this one just says Valentine's Day. And I figured out what it is. It looks like those conversation hearts. You know, the ones with the little sayings on them, hug me, love you, be mine, things like that. It looks like conversation hearts. It's those same colors. And I think that's because it really did not get very much of the orange in it. It's mostly just the purple and various shades of pink and red. And then, you know, some white. So, but it looks pretty cool. And then this is our second one. This is this skein down here. Move this one over to the side. And it looks much more red. And you can see it's got a lot of that orange in it. This one's got a little of the orange, but not nearly as much as we have over here. And it's got much more red, much less white to it. I think they match pretty nicely. Obviously, if you were to be knitting a sweater or a shawl or a scarf or something, and you knitted first with this skein, And then when you ran out of this skein, you switched over to this one, there would be an obvious break. You know, you'd be able to tell that, you know, someone might just think it's dye-lot or something. Obviously it's not dye-lot. These are not dye-lot. These are, even though they were dyed at the same time, they're unique skeins. So it's something, if you wanted to knit something with the two of these together, you'd want to alternate skeins, but they're really very close considering that this one did not get that pouring of the cherry along one whole, almost half of it, or this one did. This one did not. So they turn out really nice. And of course this one, because it had both halves of its skein that got the lemonade, the strawberry, the orange, the strawberry, truffle punch, black cherry, and purple. It's got more of those colors working throughout it, and there's less of that in this one. But they're still very similar, so I think they turned out pretty nice. Anyway, I hope you had fun watching me do some very, very cold vat dyeing. Using what was essentially melted ice from the ice storm that we got that took out our power. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit like. Make sure that you subscribe and turn on notifications so you don't miss anything that we do. And I will see you on our next adventure. Bye!